We're now working with a song that is known throughout the world entitled Amazing Grace. We're going to look at the song in several ways, and I'm also going to do a little transposing, and we're going to go, or modulation, and we're going to modulate from one key to another key. We'll start with the basic song, Amazing Grace. All right, I'll go ahead and do the last part. I once was lost. Now, usually you see the hymn book, and that's the way it will be done. We're starting in the key of F, so we will have an F chord. That's our root. To a B flat, D, and F, and then an F, B flat, and D. Let's do that much again. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. All right, let's not move any farther than there. Let's do it phrase by phrase. So we have our left hand, start with your F, because that's our beginning. Amazing. You're going to change for C, E flat, and G with an A in your bass. Then your B flat chord, back to your F chord. And that's a simple move, but it adds so much to your song by merely just walking to the D, from the F to the D. Amazing grace, A chord, B flat, then your F, and then move back to your D. And then C. Saved a wretch like me, that's saved a wretch like me. Now, on the I once, back to your F chord. And what you're doing is inverting your right hand. You start with C, F, and A. You're playing an F chord, but the C is in your thumb. What you're going to do is invert it from the C in your thumb to the C in your little finger. I was. Notice it's the same chord. It's still an F chord, but all you're doing is rocking it from your thumb to your little finger. I was. All of those were the same. We're just going to invert a little bit and take the A that's in the little finger, move it to the thumb. Lost. There's your lost. Then change that F in your little finger to the F in your thumb. But, see that? Let's do I once was lost, but. Let's try it again. I once was lost, but. All F chords, every one of them. Just invert it. But now we're going to go to our B flat now, and it's F, B flat, and D. We're going to invert on that. Take the F that's in your thumb, move it to your little finger, and back to your thumb, and then to your basic F chord. And now we're going to start walking with our left hand down. Was blind. There's your D chord. A, D, and F. Blind, but now with a C. Now we're going to use a C chord, add a B flat to it, and then your F chord. Let's do that last part. I once was lost, but now I'm found. I, F chord with the C in your thumb. I once was lost. Take that F, put it in the thumb, but now was blind. But now I see. Now, let's add a little bit more to it to make it more gospel-y. Amazing grace. Now, we're doing what I call a roll. And notice how we do it. Start with that F chord. C, F, A, B flat, D, G, and then back to your F chord with your A and your thumb. Amazing grace. And if you really wanted to, you could walk to your A, and this is what you'd have. That's an A in your left hand, C, E flat, and G. And then your B flat. You hear that B flat chord? Add an F to it to make it fuller. And then drop the F that was the B flat chord. Drop that F out of your finger and move to your thumb. Same chord. Just change the position of one note in your F chord. I changed a little bit because I want to have a little fuller sound. So I made an E natural, E, G, C. There's your D chord. Now, this time I'm going to make a B natural. Listen to this change of the sound. And back to your C chord. In the F. And put an E flat with it. B flat chord. Now, let's embellish it even more. Let's put a little bit more beat. It's very straight right now. We wanted to have a little bit more warmth and a little swing to it. So we'll play Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. Let's do that much. Your F chord, invert it. We're going to do that roll. C, F, A, B flat, D, G, A, C, F. Back to C, F, A. Amazing grace. Add that E flat. That melody's in your little finger. And then A in your left hand. A, C, E flat, G. Add a G to it. There's your B chord, B flat chord. Let's do that much again. Sing grace. We can walk. You want to walk with your, which hand would you use? Not your right hand, but you're going to walk with your left hand going up. And going to that B flat, okay? Back to your F chord. Do it one more time. Sing grace. Add that E flat. And start that walk to your B flat. The sound. Notice I did something else. Just something as simple as lifting your hand. And a lot of times people misuse the sustaining pedal. There are usually 3 pedals on your piano. You have one that they think it's called a loud pedal, so they just beat it and make all that loud noise, but it's used to sustain or hold your notes. When we work with some arpeggios and do some legato, we'll see more of that. But we're going to use it to our advantage to help to emphasize an accent a song. Playing as loud as you want to does not necessarily make a song beautiful. Sometimes you need to control the song. All right? So we're going to hold down that pedal for a moment. Then we're going to move. Let it go. Let the pedal up. Don't hold it all the way through a song. You can use it to help your timing and also to make some emphasis. Now, just something different. You notice if you've listened or watched any portion of the tape, you'll hear me do that. And I learned that little feel because I would hear the guitar. In my church, there were guitars that played, and the guitar player, one of the lead guitars, would always add a little like that, which is a D to a D flat, C natural, and then your B natural, and made a G chord, and then to your C chord. Let's do that. Your 1, 2. Okay, it's about a 6. So amazing grace. Hear that walk? Hear it? Now let's fill it in with dum bum bum bum. And what we did, we know we've got to go back to the F chord. So when we got to C, we started walking back up in the left hand to the F. That's a wretch like me. Boom, 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 boom. All right, so you're doing C, D, E, F in your left hand, and you're in your right hand, you're going like me. You have a C in your left hand, E natural, B flat, C, D in your left, F, B flat, D, and F, E, B flat with a E with a, all right, we have an E in your left hand, a C, E, G, and a B flat, going right into your F chord. I once was lost, but now. And what did you do? You're going lost, G, A, B flat in your right hand, your I want. That's that. Remember we talked about the F chord earlier? We're doing the F chord and you're inverting it. I once was. You added that E flat, but now. There's a dum ba da bum, dum dum. And that's another thing. When you hear, you can use that a lot of times in intervals where you're getting ready to change to another portion of the song, from a verse to a chorus, or add an ending, make it an ending. So I'm going to play Amazing Grace all the way through the way I would like to interpret it. With the octaves being in the melody and using a stride. It's an old traditional sound. play more of that than anything else. But it gives us it really does give it a little signature. Maybe that's my signature. But I think you'll enjoy doing that. Now, you heard some chords that were broken, which are called, usually it's called an arpeggio. And I want to show you how you can use this even as somewhat of a fake. Just like you have the fake books for various songs, you can fake a lot of things, and people think that you're really playing fantastic. They'll go, woo, I really love that. And really, it's just simple broken chords. Now, what I did, took the F chord, changed it to a D, and all I did was break the chord. D, A, D, F, A, D, F, A, D, F, A. Again. And I like to add an F. D, F in your thumb, A, D, F, A, D, F, A, D, F. A good way to show you an arpeggio and how well it can be used is I'm going to take a song that we use in our church even today. It's called Yes, Lord. The song goes, yes, 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 yes. That's basically what it is. And someone who would not be familiar with the song, if they see it written, would probably play it that way. Again, in the key of C, you have your C chord, have your F chord, you have your C chord, A chord, G chord, and F. And that G chord was with an F. Add the F, and then the C. So it goes, yes, 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 yes. That's it. Now, listen to it again. Yes, 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 yes. Not that hard. Let's look at it again. Now, notice I'm doing a rumble with alternating the C's. Yes, and then I'm playing a C chord with a G in my thumb. Yes, see that? Now, what I'm going to do is break it. Watch. Yes. And then where are we going? From the C to the F. Yes. F chord. You have a C, F, A with an A in your thumb. Yes. I added an E flat. Yes. Back to your C chord. Yes. All right. Now that's your A chord, and it's played with the E in your thumb. And then we're going to take a half step, which is an A flat, F, A flat, D. Go to your G chord. Well, really it's a C chord with a G in your thumb. One F, dum, bum, 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 bum. Break the chord up. Keep that G in your left hand. F, B, D, F, G, B, D, F, G, D, B, F, G. And then what key are we in? So we've got to go back to the root. Let's see. So it's yes, yes. I'm trying to break it slowly. Yes. Yes. See? Yes. it's a slow song, you'll have a pianist or a musician who will just play 2 chords, and they go a half step down. G, C, E, and then G flat, C, E flat. Back to it. Bum, 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 bum. When you have, sometimes they call it vibrato, where you have the freedom to take your time and do some extras. So you can do something like this. In the key of C, where if you have the space, you can play a G, A, C, E flat, D, C, A, G. You hear that? And you practice it until you can roll it. Like doing a scale. Yes. Hear that? Yes. Yes. You've learned these already. It's nothing new. C, B flat, E, G, C, C, A, E flat, G flat, C, C, A flat, D, F, A flat, C, C, G, C, E, G, C. And all you're doing is like a tremolo. With your sustaining pedal, listen to the difference. Without the sustaining pedal, sounds somewhat shallow, doesn't it? But if you place that pedal, one more time and I'll finish this. Yes. 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 Have something and someone's singing a long time and you're trying to find something to continue gently. Now, of course, I'm playing loudly so you can hear the chording, but please, when you accompany anyone, you are the accompanist. You are not the soloist. If you're the only one playing and no one's going to sing, then you can play loudly. But if you're going to be playing, please be certain you can hear the person singing, okay? Now, if you don't want to do the arpeggios, you can use solid chords running up the piano, like, and that would normally be an arpeggio. Yes, 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 and do your rumble or your tremolo, tremolo, okay, yes. So you got yes. Let's do a combination. Yes. 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 Let's go to another song. We're going to do a combination of songs. You're going to learn how to play, let's say 4 songs using the same chord pattern. Now, in the Pentecostal church, there's always been a tendency to have a number of songs in gospel music that are repetitious. Once you learn the repetition, you can sing or play several songs the same way. We're going to use, I think, the key of F on this one. And we're going to start with a song called Can't Nobody Do Me Like Jesus. And it goes, can't nobody do me like Jesus. Can't nobody do me like the Lord. Can't nobody do me like Jesus. He's my friend. Can't nobody do me like Jesus. Can't nobody do me like the Lord. Can't nobody do me like Jesus. He's my friend. You can take that same song and change the words and have the same song. Listen. Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. Call him up, tell him what you want. Same song, but if you notice, I played the same chords, but different words. And many of the Pentecostal or holiness songs were like, and still are like that. You could even do Lord, I want to go, show me the way. Lord, I want to go, show me the way. Lord, I want to go, show me the way. Take me by my hand and lead me on. Well, lead me, Jesus, lead me, show me the way. Lead me, Jesus, lead me, show me the way. Lead me, Jesus, lead me, show me the way. Take me by my hand and lead me on. And notice, again, I was accompanying, so I didn't play every note with every passage. Let's just start by talking about the pattern. So you have, we're going to start with F. And then you're going to go to B flat. And that's your 4. Back to your 1. And then your D, C, G, C, F. So you have Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. There you walk, boom, 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 okay? Boom, boom, to your B flat. All right, now because I'm not singing, I have a tendency to fill in with the melody. So what I need to do is sing, and then I'll stop and play a portion of what I've just accompanied myself with, all right? Jesus is on the main line, tell him what you want. And all I did that time in the coming, all right, and what I'm playing is F, C, F, C. In the bass, F, C, F, F, G, A, B flat. In the right hand, I'm playing part of the F chord. I have the F in my little finger, and A and C are in the thumb and the index finger. And I'm making a rhythm by playing. That's A, C, we're doing those thirds. A, C, and then B flat and D. Ba-da-da, ba-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. Da-da-da, ba-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. Hear that? Change to our 4 chord. And a lot of times older people, and we are working with traditional gospel, so older people use back to your 4 chord. And what we did, back to your 1 chord, your F chord. And what they were doing was using the thumb and interchanging F, G, F, F, G, F, F, G, F, F, G, F, until you get ready. Just on the main line, tell him. Now, this is one of my own, not necessarily traditional, where you have an E in your left hand, a G, B, D, and an A. If you can do that spread. If you can't, you might want to do it like that, with the thumb playing the A in your thumb, A, G, B. But I use the high. And that's A, G, D flat, E, and A. D in your left hand, A, D, and F. And then, can't nobody do me like Jesus. You heard that like a train. And sometimes people call that boogie woogie, or they use it and talk about blues. Well, I don't know anything about blues. I've been a church baby. I was taken to the church at 1 month old. I've been there ever since. So what you're listening to is something that has been done in churches for years. And then it was taken to the secular world. You have an F, a C, and then you're interchanging with your thumb. You're going F, C, F, D, F, E flat, D, C, D, and so you're going, almost sounds like a train going down the track. So you're going, and that's an F octave, and in between you're playing an A, a B flat, and a C. So, and use that grace note. That's F, first set A, each one alternate with an F. Grace, when I say grace 8, I've used a half step and quickly moved to the A. So it's grace A, B, C, B, grace A. And you got you have an octave. Hear it? Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. You hear that? Da 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 bum. All right, and that's an A flat, E flat, C, and then that's that grace note going down to a G, D, B flat, D in your left hand, and F, and then the F natural, grace D, C to your F chord. So it's Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. Call him up and tell him what you want. And then can't nobody do me like Jesus. Can't nobody. Now you heard. You're using those thirds. That's all you're doing. A flat C, G B flat, A flat F, F D C. When you make it, remember we have that from F to B flat. That's all we're doing. A different style, but it's the same. It's still F, B flat, F. That's all we're doing. Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. Da 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 da. I think of a chicken. Da 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 da. That A flat, remember we did it. There it is. Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. Back to your F, tell him what you want. Call him up and tell him what you want. All right, so you find out you can take a Pentecostal song that has been done. Those of you who have been envying those piano players, they're not doing all you think that they are doing. Basically, what they're doing is fudging and just changing that 1, 4, 1. That's it. Sometimes here and then back to here. We're going to try something a little bit different. This is going to be very up-tempo, and I'm just going to go ahead and just play it all the way through. I may put 2 songs with it. And then I'd like to come back and show you some of the things that were done that possibly you could add to songs that you already play. What you were listening to, of course, being the soloist, musically, you heard a lot of the song, so you would not get lost. But we can do variations to that. We can start with, just as if you were doing a composition that would be classical, they take various segments of it, and it becomes more of a variety, a song of variety. Maybe one section of the orchestra is going to be emphasized, and they get an opportunity to do their own solo. The same way with a piano, you can do the very same thing. Let's take just the melody first. You notice I added my bump. That's like my trumpets. Gonna lay down my burden down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. Gonna lay down my burden. Trouble, study one or more. And what you're hearing in the left hand, sometimes they say it's a working bass because that's my rhythm. Gonna lay down my burdens down by Let's do it slowly. Gonna lay down my burdens down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. Gonna lay down my burdens down by the riverside. Study war no more. I'm staying in G, but notice I'm going all over the scale. It's usually in thirds. Sometimes it's not. Boom, 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 boom. Let's try it again. As you're learning, do a little bit at a time. Notice your bass, bump one. And as you get into the song, let's make some variations. Watch what I'll do. Through it once. Let's change it. Maybe let your right hand do a solo. Let's see what we can do with the key of F and try what we call a shouting song. Now, again, some churches are very jubilant in their gospel music, and some others are more subdued and quieter. This is one of those songs where I almost need a choir, because usually it's a call response song and someone is singing like, I'm a soldier in the army of the Lord. I'm a soldier in the army. I'm a soldier in the army of the Lord. I'm a soldier in the army. Be that if old people would hear somebody playing, they'd say that they were playing barrel house music or blues, but it's part of the gospel setting when you play gospel music. Let's look at another area where you might have to begin a song for someone, and you always, not always, but usually you begin a song with an introduction, and if you do, you want an introduction that will build into the beginning of the song. So let's try He's Got the Whole World in His Hands. And I'm using simple songs that you're familiar with so it will not be so foreign, learning a song plus learning how to play it. Now you know the song. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. Well, you've got to start them off, so how would you do it? That's a typical introduction in a gospel song with some octaves, something heavy, something bold, with your left hand in an octave of E and the right hand in an octave of E, and together you just move them to the G. And you end up with your C. Ba-boom, ba-boom. If you're listening to some of the Mahalia Jackson numbers and you listen to it, you'll hear something like that done right in the beginning of her song. All right? Another introduction you could use for Whole World in His Hand would be just a little change. Instead of using the octaves all the way, using some chords. And he's got the whole world in his hand. You do that. For a slow song, one of the most, I think it's a tag that people use all the time, especially in the old songs, such as all right, that's an A flat, so let's bring it down to a C. Depending on what you're singing, it might be what a friend, which we did, we have in Jesus. But you always hear ba da ba boom, da 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 da. You hear that? And all you're doing is taking whatever you started with your root, and you're going to go to your fourth or whatever. So ba ba ba. 1, 4, ba ba ba. Just what? See how we did that? Okay, you might do a song such as In the Key of F. All right. And you hear a lot of songs that start like this. And remember that tremolo that we talked about? Okay. There are so many things that you can do in gospel music to embellish what you already know. Those of you who are just beginners, remember to start with the very, very basic thing. Some people become so anxious to play that they try to skip over a lot of things. Most of all, it takes practice. You don't do it overnight. You must practice. And don't practice to the point where you're so tired of it that you walk away from it. But start with just a phrase or two, or maybe part of a song, maybe 2 lines of a song. Practice 15 to 30 minutes on it. Get up, leave it, then come back, work on it. And and most of all, tape yourself. You'll find that when you tape what you've played and listen to it, again, you'll find your flaws and you'll work on it. And then just save that portion of the tape. And 2 weeks later, go back and listen and hear the changes that will become very evident as you practice more. Here's a hymn, Blessed Assurance. My test question, where is the melody? Can you pick out the melody? If you said the little finger, you're right. Hear it, add it. With your chord. So that gives you an idea. Remember, learn your melody first and then practice around. Add your chords, add those voices that will make it sound like a chord so that you can play in a very exciting way. I really have enjoyed sharing with you the various styles of gospel music. And as I told you in the beginning, when you say gospel, you're opening Pandora's box because there are so many varieties of black sacred music that you can use to show the different styles that we can accomplish. I hope that you do practice, and most of all, let me know if there's something that you've learned that you didn't know before. And I would even love to hear from some of you if you have tapes that you want to send and let me hear how you've progressed. It would be great to do so. Remember that the major thing, as I said earlier, is to practice. If you don't practice, you're not going to accomplish much. You can't wait and close your eyes and say, I hope I learn how to play. You've got to play. The more you play, the better it will be. And thank you very much for just taking time to listen to some traditional gospel music. Bye-bye.